morning. Welcome to another episode of Buy Point ASX. I'm Mac and I'm in Oz. So today we're talking about the big one, the Commonwealth Bank, the single largest company on the ASX. It has a long history in Australia. It was originally set up by the Federal Parliament as Australia's national bank before being privatised and listed on the ASX. So here is the key indicator behind the rationale of Buy Point ASX. What we are looking for are companies, the price action line of which inevitably, or at least apparently inevitably, continue to move upwards and to the right. This philosophy is meant to debunk a large part of the share market commentariat's approach, and what we're suggesting is that the single primary consideration when you're looking for a stock in which to invest is simply to ask yourself this question: has the company, in your opinion, reached its all-time high? Because if you don't believe that the company will never reach this price again, that would make perfect sense to decide not to buy the stock. If you believe that it is very unlikely that in 10 years' time, for example, the Commonwealth Bank will never have achieved this record high of, about $190, then the question is, why would you hesitate in buying the stock if you think the stock is inevitably going to go up? So here is the recent price action chart of the CBA with a 4-line simple moving average envelope superimposed on top. What you see here is the remarkable growth in the price of the CBA over the last 18 months. This has to be explained, and at the moment it is not immediately apparent why the ASX has broken out the way that it does, or that it has. My suggestion is that Australian investors have come to see the CBA as something of a safe haven in times of global uncertainty. Here we get to the more nitty-gritty aspect of the chart, because here you see the key indicator relied upon by Buy Point ASX. These buy points. These are the points at which on the MACD, the MACD line is cutting upwards through the signal line, this being the single most reliable indicator of price growth that you'll find in terms of reading price action line charts. You can see here again during the Trump chaos, the CBA price retraced, and what you see here most recently is the most recent fall in the price of the CBA, and what we're looking at specifically is this buy point right there. Here's just a closer look, and you can see that since mid-June, the CBA has finally started to retrace, attempted to get back on the upward trend unsuccessfully, and has gone sideways for a little while. But again, the question is, do you think the CBA is going to keep going down, or do you think that these indicators suggest that the price is about to start growing again? Here are the fundamentals for the company. You'll see it is by far the biggest stock on the ASX, and you can see here the performance of the stock over the last 10 years. Here are the other fundamentals, and what you should take from this is you can see that while the bank's business is very healthy and most of these charts have been going up, it isn't anything spectacular. There's nothing in the basic performance indicators of the stock which would account for the remarkable rise in the price of the stock over the last 18 months. And this is where we find ourselves. Since the bank was first listed back in the 90s, the bank has enjoyed a fairly stable trend of growth despite challenges like the GFC and COVID. And then here in the last 18 months, the trajectory has just gone through the roof. Whatever the explanation for the growth of the CBA's price over the last 18 months, the question for investors is, as I've said, do you think that the CBA, the single largest company on the ASX, has hit its all-time high? If you do, then obviously you wouldn't be investing in the stock. If you don't, the question is, why would you not? And this is why I'm suggesting that now is a great time to invest in the CBA, now that the stock is retraced and is technically at a new buy point. This is what you see if you go to the bank's website, and this, given that in Australia at least rates are coming down, is the key to why we can be confident that the CBA is going to continue to grow. And here's the disclaimer. Thanks for watching.